The Generals of the Yang Family, Chapter 6.
We are stepping deep into the deadly politics of a newly established imperial court.
Right.
And we're going to see how the greatest threat to a celebrated general wasn't a sword, but a missing piece of ceremonial paperwork.
That's absolutely right. You turn of General Hu Yanzan to the court of Emperor Taizong, and specifically how easily a powerful enemy can weaponize institutional rules against, a military hero. We're talking about the minister Pan Renmei.
Pan Renmei. The sources say he had a poisonous hatred for Hu Yanzan.
A deep personal venom.
Okay, so let's break this down. We're looking at two distinct, really calculated plots to kill the general.
The first is disguised as a kind of friendly martial trial, a test of skill.
And the second one is just pure bureaucratic warfare, leveraging a violation of some highly specific ceremonial law.
And what's so striking right away is the pattern. When Pan Renmei couldn't beat Hu Yanzan with a weapon, he just switched tactics.
He tries to beat him with politics.
Exactly. It shows how easily a powerful official could manipulate the entire system of justice, turning minor mistakes or even staged events into capital offenses. This is a story of power. Well, power unchecked.
So let's start with the catalyst. Hu Yanzan had already fled the court because of Pan Renmei.
Right, he was already in exile, essentially.
So it must have taken enormous courage for another minister, Zhang Tingqin, to even bring this up with the emperor.
Oh, absolutely. He goes to Taizong and says, look, this man, Hu Yanzan, a man of heroic talent, is being deliberately driven away by an envious minister.
And Taizong's reaction? He's furious. He demands to know how Pan Renmei dared to, and this is a quote, arbitrarily execute and screen out loyal and good men.
Yes, so the emperor wants justice. But this is where you see the rot in the system, and you see it immediately. Taizong orders an official, Yang Wangmei, to investigate Pan.
And the investigation is corrupted almost instantly.
Almost before it begins. Pan Renmei gets to Guangmei, convinces him to cover for him, and even promises to repay the generous virtue later.
So Guangmei just lies to the emperor's face.
He does. He reports back that the whole affair was not very related to Pan Renmei. It's a swift, perfect whitewash.
Wow. That just shows how much influence or maybe fear Pan commanded at court.
It really does. And then, knowing he's guilty, Pan does something incredibly audacious. He goes to face the emperor himself.
And he doesn't just deny it. He creates a whole new narrative.
He does. He says, Hu Yanzan wanted to leave anyway. His heart was unhappy. He wanted to return home.
And then comes the really bold move. Pan volunteers to go get him.
Yes. He says, I'll go to Taizong Mountain and I'll bring him back. He literally wagers his own life that Hu Yanzan will back up his story.
Okay, but why? That seems like a huge risk. Why would he think Hu Yanzan wouldn't just expose him the second he gets back at court?
It's a brilliant, calculated risk. Pan is probably betting that Hu Yanzan is so worried about being charged with the crime of private escape.
Right, for deserting his post.
That he'll just accept Pan's story to guarantee a safe return. He's betting on Hu Yanzan's self-interest.
And this is where the Eight Prince comes in.
Yeah.
He provides the political off-ramp.
He does. The Eight Prince is the court stabilizer. He suggests that recalling Hu Yanzan could pardon both their faults.
So it's not about finding the truth anymore.
No, it's about finding a solution that saves face for the court. The Eight Prince understands that Taizong needs stability more than he needs to punish Pan Renmei at that moment. He's the voice of pragmatism.
So Pan is sent off. When he gets to Taizong Mountain, what happens?
Well, Hu Yanzan's first instinct is pure revenge. He tells his friend Jianzong, I can never avenge this hatred. And he sees his chance to just kill Pan right there.
But the friend, Jianzong, talks him down.
He does. He's the strategist. He tells him, do not forget the great plan due to a small grudge. He reminds him their duty is to the dynasty, not a personal feud.
So they accept the summons.
They do. And it's interesting, the imperial edict that Pan reads still holds Hu Yanzan accountable. It accuses him of that crime of private escape. So he's returning, but he's on very thin ice.
So he's back in the capital, and Taizong wants to see what he can do, test his famous military skill.
Right. The emperor needs to see the hero perform.
And the Eight Prince suggests they replicate the famous imperial orchard story. Why that specific story?
It was a very well-known legend, a famous duel between two generals, Yuqi Jingde and Shan Shangxin. It was standard for bravery, for skill.
So it's supposed to be a spectacle, a show of strength to welcome him back.
Supposed to be. But Pan Renmei sees an opportunity. He tries to twist this spectacle into an execution.
And this is where it gets really incredible. Pan volunteers his own son-in-law, Yang Yanhan, to be the opponent.
His intent is just blatantly malicious. He wants to use the cover of the duel to kill Hu Yanzan and get revenge for his own son's death.
The whole thing is rigged.
Totally rigged. But the plot it unravels. And it unravels because of something Pan couldn't have predicted.
The conscience of Yang Yanhan himself.
Exactly. The general is saved by the morality of his enemy's son-in-law. Yanhan goes straight to the Eight Prince and confesses the entire plot.
Why?
He explains that Hu Yanzan had spared his life once before and even gave him gold. He says, "If I don't save him today, then I would be an unjust man."
Wow. So in this world of high-stakes political treachery, it's a small debt of honor that acts as the ultimate safety measure.
It is. Hu Yanzan survived not because of his army, but because one person chose gratitude over a political directive from his powerful father-in-law.
The Eight Prince immediately steps in.
And he makes a brilliant political argument. He doesn't just say Pan is trying to murder him.
No, what does he say?
He says that if there were an unfortunate incident, it would damage the court's dignity. He reframes it. It's not about saving Hu Yanzan, it's about protecting the emperor's reputation.
So they find a substitute, a drill master named Xu Huayan.
Right. And the duel itself is just fantastic theater. Hu Yanzan gets a gold whip, Xu Huayan gets a sandalwood spear, and Taizong tells them, perform well, so the army will be convinced.
This is all about credibility.
It is. And the showdown proves Hu Yanzan's tactical genius. They fight for over 20 rounds.
And then Hu Yanzan feigns defeat. He runs.
It does. He's a master tactician. He leads Xu Huayan on a chase, maneuvering him until he's right in front of the imperial carriage.
A perfect line of sight for the emperor.
Strategic genius. At the perfect moment, Hu Yanzan pivots, strikes Xu Huayan down with the gold whip, and secures this immediate, very public victory.
And Taizong is delighted. Calls him a true general, rewards him, he's safe.
For now, he's lodged at the Temple of Heavenly Kingdom.
You would think after that, after failing a literal assassination attempt in front of the whole court, Pan Ren-mei would retreat.
You'd think. But he is absolutely undeterred. He just shifts strategy.
Having failed to win with steel, he turns to paper and protocol.
This second plot is so much more insidious because it uses the bureaucracy itself as a weapon.
It moves from a physical threat to an administrative one.
Which is much harder to fight and much easier to disguise.
Okay, let's slow down here because this is the most profound lesson. This happens on the first day of the second month of Taiping Xinguo Year 1.
Yes. Taizong is going to the great ancestral temple for a major incense ceremony.
And there's a rule, a piece of court protocol.
Right. Something called residence markers, or Shina. They were crucial for flow control, basically. Ministers had to set these up at their designated spots along the route.
To prevent the imperial carriage from being blocked.
Exactly. It's an obscure administrative detail for crowd management.
And Hu Yanzan, who's brand new, fresh from the mountains, staying at a temple.
He has no idea this rule even exists. He's completely unfamiliar with this hyper-specific ceremony, so he tries to greet the carriage, as you would.
But he fails to set up his marker.
He does. And Pan Ren-mei, who is leading the entire procession, has immediate authority over the whole ceremony.
And he seizes the opportunity. Instantly.
Instantly. He demands to know who is blocking the imperial carriage.
An attendant says it's the newly returned General Hu Yanzan.
And Pan doesn't hesitate. No investigation, no fine, no reprimand.
What does he do?
His reaction is just terrifying. He instantly orders a cavalry officer to bind him and take him to the execution grounds for beheading.
Just
like that. Hu Yanzan goes from being an imperial hero to being marched to his death in the space of 3 sentences, all over a missed protocol marker.
And the source says all the civil and military officials dared not speak.
They were paralyzed. Pan's authority in that moment, backed by the ritual, was absolute.
It's the perfect parallel for some obscure corporate compliance rule today, right?
Yeah.
The kind of thing no one cares about until a rival needs to weaponize it.
That's a perfect analogy. Hu Yanzan was a military genius, but he was illiterate in the language of court administration. And that illiteracy almost got him killed.
His life is saved, again, by the Eight Prince.
Yes, only because the prince happens to pass the execution ground after the ceremony.
And he immediately understands what's happening. He says, not setting up the residence marker is a small detail. Why the death penalty?
He sees right through it. He knows it's Pan, the schemer plotting to harm him again. He recognizes the punishment doesn't fit the crime, so it has to be malicious.
So he rescues Hu Yanzan, takes him back to his own residence for safety.
And then he goes to Taizong. The emperor, hearing the facts, agrees to a pardon. But this is the Eight Princes' most critical move. He knows a verbal pardon isn't enough.
Right. That's pragmatism born from experience. What does he argue?
He argues that the emperor can't know what happens outside the inner court. He warns that even if there is injustice, it cannot reach the emperor. A verbal pardon is meaningless if Pan can just order an execution on the spot again.
He needs something official, something on paper.
Exactly. He demands Taizong issue a special gracious decree and an official certificate, a signed written document to guarantee Hu Yanzhan's safety.
He's forcing the emperor to create an institutional barrier against Pan's scheming.
He is. And Taizong complies. He finally gives Hu Yanzhan the documentary proof of his safety.